Good morning, everyone. I'm so sorry that Zoom is not working today. My computer may be at fault, my internet may be at fault, or it might be Zoom. I'm not sure. I'm just very sorry I won't see your faces. Here's my face. Hi. I'm probably very close up to you right now. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is looking at a couple of things, an overview of what we're to be doing today. We're going to get a short lesson on our IMROD method and our annotated bibliographies, and then a review of the homework assignment. So let's go ahead and begin with our guidelines for today. So originally we're going to meet online. We're not going to do that. We're going to be watching this video. So during the video, I'll be going through all this information, including a lecture on annotated bibliographies, and then going over the assignment for Google's Docs galaxy-wide writing strategies. And then I'm hoping that I can just tell you right now, the second Google Doc is going to be for all classes. Both Google Docs will actually be for all classes. You're going to be really just dropping in information from Curious Researcher, pages 48 to 55 and 67 to 78. These are talking about conducting primary research. They're talking about writing a method section. And then I'm also going to throw in, I'd like you, if you have any questions or anything like that, I'd like everybody to post those to the question thread. And I'll just be answering the questions all day long. So our homework assignment for today is perhaps one of the most important ones of the semester, and that's from Writing Spaces, How to Conduct Primary Research with Dr. Driscoll. I strongly recommend that you be thorough in your annotations of this because we are going to be using it as the only, not the only, but the main discussion of how to conduct primary research. Curious Researcher goes over quite a bit of this also, but Dr. Driscoll really gets the ethical issues behind doing human subject research. So we really want to be conscientious of the ethical research issues and be thinking about that for our own work. So let's take a quick look at our assignment, galaxy-wide writing strategies. So first, when we get off of this video, I would like folks to go ahead and comment on this sort of comparison, if you will. We're not really ideally comparing so much as just noticing the different ways that people put together the IMROD method. So last time we talked about Game Within the Game, and now we're going to be looking at how does galaxy-wide writing strategies differ. We look again at the IMROD method. Just a reminder: introduction, literature review, methods, results, analysis, discussion, and conclusion. So all of these pieces, the introduction, I'm going to just put /lit review. Most people have that. It's slightly less common in the sciences to have an extended lit review. More common in social science, psychology, business to have an extended lit review. How do these differ? So below, I'd like you to share, and I'm going to say not a paragraph, this was just for class today, but let's say a sentence for each of us where you discuss the move that our author in Galaxy Wide makes in contrast, oops, typo, in contrast, it's always good to relook our work, in contrast to those made in Game Within a Game. Okay, so really try to get specific as you can. You want to use specific examples from both backgrounds or look at the elements of the way they break down the analysis and discussion, like what kind of headers do they use, how many sources do they use, what are some interesting things. So we already have some folks commenting. Thank you for my morning groups commenting already. Just write as much as you can or want to in order to fulfill that. So we are going to be looking at right now, as the lecture of the day, the annotated bibliography. Okay, so again, let's review for just a moment. In your research paper, we have an introduction, including a literature review. we've talked about the methods a little bit, and we'll be talking about that on Tuesday after we read Dr. Driscoll's work. Then we have our results, which we don't know that yet because we haven't done our study, but once we do our study, we'll have results, and we'll have a day where we'll go through the results. We'll really work together in our study groups online to say, okay, this is what I found, what should I do with it? And then we'll figure out, how do we talk about our results? How do we discuss them? How do we analyze them if we need to? Okay. But right now, what we're preparing for are two things. First, the literature review, which again, like I said last time, it's about 4 pages, double spaced. So maybe circa, if you think 300 words per page, circa 900 to 1200 words of your actual paper will be a lit review. So where does that come from? It comes from an annotated bibliography. So ideally, as I say here, it will make your annotated bibliography a snap. Okay, that's the hope, right? So what is an annotated bib and why do we write it? So this is essentially busy work. It's work, though, that it will not go to waste. You will use these actual sentences, whether they're edited a little bit or not, you will use the sentences in your research paper, in your lit review. But why do we write it? We do it to assess the quality of the resource, to see if your resources are appropriate to your paper, to find out if your sources are reputable, to really understand your topic. This is so important, it can't be overstated. When you take the words of someone else and paraphrase them, and especially summarize them, as we're going to see in an example in a minute, you go from reading something to understanding it, right? So then, of course, we're going to review the material that we need for our paper when we do this. So what should an annotated bib include? So the first thing that it will include is a citation. And I'm just going to pop forward it actually really looks like an exact citation, okay? So it's not a partial citation, it's not a link to something, it's the actual full citation. Why? So that when you get to the end of the semester, all you have to do is copy and paste those annotated bib citations into your references or works cited, and you're done. It will help you so much in the end to just have all that information there and complete it all in one place. So that's why your researcher's notebook is all one doc, so that you have it all right there, right? So the next thing you'll have is a summary description of the purpose and argument of the article, the research question if applicable. Now that really is like a great opportunity. Does this article have a research question? If it does, include that. Information about the article or our author's integrity, and we'll see sort of what that looks like in just a second. Which pieces of the article you plan to cite and why. Now that piece is so important. You may think that that's really not about the article, but that's perhaps the most important thing. It's not just to tell me, it's to remind yourself. By the end of the semester, you will have forgotten what you were reading right before spring break. You will need the reminder. So what were you thinking you could use it for? And this is where BEAM will come in so handy. Is it a background? Is it an exhibit? Is it an argument? Is it a methods or a definition or a framework? What is it for you? And can you even include, really specific information? So the details of it, what should it be? Each annotation should be about a paragraph, between 150 and 200 words. The citation should be the same format as a regular works cited or references, meaning APA or MLA. The lines should all be double spaced. Don't add extra lines. Try to be objective. Some of the things I've noticed about your proposals so far in my reading of them is that some of you have really strong opinions, and that's fantastic. And it's also can be a little problematic when it comes to doing research. You want to keep as open a mind as you possibly can. So try to be objective in your discussion of the work. This is totally wrong is maybe something is language to avoid, right? Okay. And use the third person. So here's an example. It's a really nice example. I'm going to get a little closer. You can see this is MLA, an MLA example, and it's from a peer-reviewed article. Okay. So in this article, Anthony Oakley describes the health consequence of childhood obesity and several programs aimed at preventing unhealthy weight gain in children. Overview. He sees parents as the primary source of power over children's unhealthy weight gain. I could argue with that, but I'm not going to argue with that. I'm just going to say this is the argument statement, right? What does the author think? That's what they think. And then you get quite a bit of information about credibility, which I will skip for now, but let's just say it's credible. And then at the end, so important to recognize, this article will be used in the research paper for its basic statistics on childhood obesity, etc., etc. Okay? At the end, tell us what you're going to use it for. Give yourself that hint. Remind yourself, yeah? So we're going to move now really briefly to the pages in Curious Researcher. So Curious Researcher is a secondary place you can learn about annotated bibliographies, and I encourage everyone to use exercise 3.4 to build an annotated bib, okay? So this walks you through the whole thing, and I'm not going to go through, it's pretty much what I've said, but it's, you know, always good to have a little bit of extra information and have something said in a slightly different way. So this is pages 109 to 110, building an annotated bib in Curious Researcher. Okay, so far, almost done. So if we go back to our work for today, we want to recognize that first we have annotated bibliographies that are possibly seeming like busy work, ideally are going to be literally taken as a reminder of what you read just now. And then also, because by the end of the semester, you will have forgotten, trust me, you want those notes. What is this? Give us a summary, etc. But you will actually use those summaries. You will actually use the credibility statement. All of that will likely go into your literature review and make it a very robust literature review. So spend some time working on your annotated bibliographies. Why am I telling you this now when they're not due yet? Well, I'm telling you now because it takes a very long time to do these. If you can imagine, you have to really read carefully, you have to understand, you have to be able to summarize, you have to find the citation. It takes a long time. I will be asking folks to upload these. I believe I will be waiting until, I have to look at my schedule, but it's not for next time. It may be for Thursday, or it may be for after spring break, but we want to be working on them. You can't do these all in one night. I'm going to just look at your faces. You cannot do an annotated bibliography all in one night. You just can't do it. Please do it over time. To do maybe one this weekend, one next week, one the next weekend, like that. They take a lot of time. They take a lot of energy. It's hard. It feels like busy work, but I promise you in the end, and I've done this so many times, you take those annotated bibs and you pull those pieces out and you just put them onto your literature review, and then you just shape them. And when you do that, you make it so easy for yourself to get a paper that's 10 to 12 pages. This is a good time to remind us, we have to work very slowly in iterations to get that paper. I hope you're not looking just up my nose, but that would be okay too, as long as you get the message. Go slowly, do your annotated bibliographies one at a time, and really give yourself plenty of time to do them. Do not wait till last minute, okay? Finally, today we're going to be spending quite a bit of time with Dr. Driscoll's conducting primary research, and then uploading at least, let's say, you could do a quote, you could do a comment, but just one thing that you felt like you took away from chapter 2 of Curious Researcher 48 through 55 or 67 through 78. Now, I am going to, on that Google Doc, say, like there will be place for like 20 students to post on one of them and 20 students to post on another. So you have to do one or the other, but everybody has to read 67 to 78. That's on your methods section. That's what we're doing next. It would behoove you to look at that soon. Okay. All right, friends. So we're going to sign off for today. I'm so sorry Zoom's not working. I look forward to seeing your faces on Tuesday. I'm hoping things will be sorted out then. I'll be holding office hours tomorrow intermittently. I have some commitments with my daughters for their Zoom classes, so I can't be Zooming when they're Zooming, but I should be able to meet in the morning between 9 and 10:30 on Friday if that's possibly can work for some people. So I really encourage you, put in the question thread or email me. I suspect many of you might want to talk to me. Please just tell me what times work for you and I will try to work it out. I know right away that from 12 to 1, we're going to be Zooming with a kindergarten teacher. So other than that, we should be good to try to find times. Okay, thank you so much. Just go ahead and throw it out there what times could work for you, and I will send an email, and I'll also be sending a reminder list tomorrow of all your homeworks. Okay, all right friends, here's one last screenshot. Take care.